Wonder how that got through the thing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it seems like it's glaring, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, like it's the glaring the glaring main problem.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
don't
it's
go
not.
down
It's
aisle 7 in Safeway. And it's like the sirens of Ulysses. Gate vodka is calling you. It's obviously all
Uh,
projection from the head, yes?
yes.
All projection from the head. We give everything all the meaning it has. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Cunning, baffling, powerful.
yeah. What is it without help? Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much for us.
Yeah. That's why it's a we program, eh? Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. There is you can feel it at meetings. There's a collectiveness that you can feel in the room. Like the code of the collective is love and tolerance. And that can be felt even though singularly every person in that room isn't loving and tolerant at that moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
But love and tolerance gets cooked up through the we. Yeah, yeah. It's a one of the magic, like in the Course of Miracles, they would call the holy instant where without seeing the purity of your brother or sister, you're not going to see it yourself, yes? So in a way, we're sort of aligned with that as in the program because it's a we program.
Yeah, gentlemen, I got a question for you. If somebody's trying to call in, is there a passcode?
Yeah, you just call in. Yeah, give them the Zoom number.
What if they can't
Oh,
join
call. Oh,
with
if they
this?
call.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll put it in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna start it. So yeah. Hopefully this you can see these meetings as all meetings. There's a loving presence expressing itself through our group conscience. Yeah. Yeah. So I come to these, I mean, it's been so long, and the baseline is always the same. Now there's different feelings emphasized, but the feeling is the same coming to the Zooms. Yeah. Yeah. So I can't know, like the people that show up may be different, or this what was said was different, but really what you leave with is the sameness of the that presence. Yeah. And it becomes like one big Zoom meeting over years. Yeah. Yeah. I can't particularize, oh, that one was great because the underlying feeling's the same. Yeah. Uh, like able to be still and okayness. Yeah. Not as a fruit of an endeavor, but just a gift that's been given. Yeah. That there's a okayness where there wasn't before. Yeah. Wow. All right. So who's running the show today? Is it Kathleen?
It is.
You want to start, Kathleen?
I do. I'll read a little. Do you have any preference of what you'd like me to read today after I read our little opening?
Uh, no, you do whatever you like.
Okay. So, welcome everyone to the Reflections on the 12 Steps. Just a friendly announcement. This is not an AA meeting. This is just one member's view on the exact nature of the wrong as described on page 64 of the Big Book and the solutions contained within. This is not an all-share meeting. Those shares there will be, but actually a question and answer meeting with Paul. So I was thinking a couple different things about what to read And it looks like maybe I could just finish a couple pages from where Mickey left off the other day. How's that sound?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. She left off on page 55 after it was so with us. So like almost all the way down to the second to the last paragraph. We can only clear the ground a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'll just repeat that one paragraph above it if you don't mind. We finally saw that faith in some kind of God was a part of our makeup, just as much as the feeling we have for a friend. Sometimes we had to search fearlessly, but he was there. He was as much a fact as we were. We found the great reality deep down within us. In the last analysis, it is only there that he may be found. It was so with us. We can only clear the ground a bit. If our testimony helps sweep away prejudice, enables you to think honestly, encourages you to search diligently within yourself, then, if you wish, you can join us on the broad highway. With this attitude, you cannot fail. The consciousness of your belief is sure to come to you. In this book, you will read the experience of a man who thought he was an atheist. His story is so interesting that some of it should be told now. His change of heart was dramatic, convincing, and moving. Our friend was a minister's son. He attended church school where he became rebellious at what he thought an overdose of religious education. For years thereafter, he was dogged by trouble and frustration, business failure, insanity, fatal illness, suicide. These calamities in his immediate family embittered and depressed him. Post-war disillusionment, ever more serious alcoholism, impending mental, physical collapse brought him to the point of self-destruction. One night, when confined to a hospital, he was approached by an alcoholic who had known a spiritual experience. Our friend's gorge rose as he bitterly cried out, "If there is a God, he certainly hasn't done anything for me." But later, alone in his room, he asked himself this question: is it possible that all the religious people I have known are wrong? While pondering the answer, he felt as though he lived in hell. Then, like a thunderbolt, a great thought came. It crowded out all else. Who are you to say there is no God? This man recounts that he tumbled out of bed to his knees. In a few seconds, he was overwhelmed by a conviction of the presence of God. It poured over and through him with the certainty and majesty of a great tide at flood. The barriers he had built through the years were swept away. He stood in the presence of infinite power and love. He had stepped from bridge to shore. For the first time, he lived in conscious companionship with his Creator. Thus was our friend's cornerstone fixed in place. No later vicissitude has shaken it. His alcoholic problem was taken away. That very night, years ago, it disappeared. Save for a few brief moments of temptation, the thought of drink has never returned. And at such times, a great revolution has risen up in him. Seemingly, he could not drink even if he would. God has restored his sanity. What is this but a miracle of healing? Yet, its elements are simple. Circumstances made him willing to believe. He humbly offered himself to his Maker, then he knew. Even so, has God restored us all to our right minds. To this man, the revelation was sudden. Some of us grow into it more slowly, but he has come to all who have honestly sought him. When we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us.
Thanks, Kathleen.
You're welcome, Paul. Thanks for letting me read.
Thanks for what? Well, the gateway of recovery has grown even wider. Yeah. And There are many meetings for people who don't have a sense of the God, yes? But by seeing the God that they're not, it opens them up to a great influence. Who cares if it's if it's not the name that you give it, yeah, or if something else gives it. It's the sense of it and the feeling. And in this case, it's just recognizing the God of reason isn't you. Yeah. I believe in those days, the God of reason would be how you think. Yes. And so something has taken over the thinking and is playing God on us through the thinking. Yes. And that God of reason in a sense, is a false God. I don't think you need for many people, they have found that they don't need to find a new God to take the place of the failed God. They can just leave it as a question mark, yeah? And just know that they're not managerial quality, yes? As that which they're not, any life run on that which you're not, this idea of self is hardly going to be a success. Yeah. And they support themselves. There's atheist meetings and everything else. And the standardization of this message could have been seen as confined to this recognition of God. And again, the solution has expanded to make room for every kind of variation of the problem. Yeah. So now people go to no God meetings. They're sober. They're having incredible events occur in their life. Yes, they can have a viable relationship with another person, all this stuff. Yep. So even this that was presented had lanes in the broad highway. That broad highway's been expanded over time, hasn't it? Yeah. Whatever head, it's really mostly seeing what you're not. Yeah. Yeah. Just see that which is defeating you is not you. And then the possibility of being free from it is readily available to the atheist, to the believer, to this or that. Yes. It's the mistaking the reason to be yours, yeah, or godlike is the dilemma. Yeah. So again, because the solution is the point, this whole program has organically grown. At one time in San Francisco, there were people that really wanted to have it very sterile, and it was just about alcohol. And then just over time, it got overwhelmed because people needed relief and they came in with drug problems also with the alcohol, yes, and mental illness and everything like that. And did we say, oh, you know, the room of AA is for those people, that room, that door, and this door? No, the door is wide open. Yeah. So the solution becomes more uh, available to everyone, believer or not, because everyone's believing in something before. Yeah. When you don't believe, that's a belief. Just you can't get out of the influence of faith here. Yeah. As it says on page 53 or 54. So in one way or another, we discovered that faith had been involved all the time. Yes. Yeah. So I have great faith that there is no God. That's faith. Yeah. We're just that the faith that has been given over to this idea of self and self is not willing to give it back, there's a program to break that hold and have that faith given back and put in the infinite, whatever that may be, as long as it's in a sense not the old boss. Yeah. So they speak of these because for many of them, this is what happened. But now there's more than many of us, and it happens in various different ways. Yeah. And again, those different ways, it would be crazy to have contempt prior to investigation of those different ways. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff going on that I have no idea of because I'm entrenched in this here. But people, certain things aren't working, and they're open to have them work in some way. And then they gather together and they have the banner of 12 steps in the program. Yeah. And yet they don't have a formulation of God. Yeah. Yeah. So I just think, just see you're not that which is playing God. And then a God in your life may not be that necessary because something's already in your life. You may end up calling it God or spirit or whatever. Yeah. So I'm amazed how organically recovery has grown. Yeah. To fit all of the exotic shit the head can come up with and to neutralize the head at every turn and every corner because of course the head is looking for a big butt. Yeah. And the first one was I don't like the God of the church or whatever. Yeah. And so I'm just going to drink myself to death and be right about that. Yeah. So now there's it's a gateless gate. Yeah. Yeah. Just come in, see what happens. God or no. Yeah. You'll know the tree by the fruit. You don't have to call it a God tree, but you'll know the tree by the fruit. This program works on restoring us to sanity concerning the insanity that precedes the first string. That's what it does. Yeah. We don't start, so we don't have to have all these various waves of stopping. We just don't start anymore. And then life can build a whole lot of other stuff in your space because it's not filled with this uh the elephant in the room, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. So I love the emphasis of faith because I feel it. Yeah. When you've been moved a lot, let's say if you're like you're the boot in Monopoly, yeah, and yeah, there's been thousands of games of Monopoly, but there's been the one boot and the one Eiffel Tower, yeah, and no matter how many moves were made by the game in Monopoly, the boot was the expression of that moving, yeah. And after a while, being somewhat two levels above a coconut, you can sense what's moving you around the game board. Literally, especially if you've had one power moving the boot and then having a new experience of another power moving the boot. The boot has enough consciousness to recognize the difference. Yeah. And so when it feels that old power getting ready to move it, yeah. In a weird way, there's a decision that you don't want to have faith in that. Yeah. But you're still overwhelmed by it. So we have a program to change that condition. Yes. So the dilemma of powerlessness becomes our solution. We admit we can't pull it off. We admit we can't do it. And then we actually observe something does for us what we can't do for ourselves. So suddenly the boot ends up on the boardwalk instead of Baltic Place every time. And it has a sense of great gratitude because boardwalks is a lot more comfortable than Baltic Place in the game board of Monopoly. Yeah. And really the point was to get to the boardwalk. And then you're just fucking grateful. Yeah. I don't really have to know what blew me here. I just happy that it blew me there. Yeah. Yeah. And it always throws these statements in that things are going to happen to you. It's not you're going to be the cause of the happening, But if you submit yourself a day at a time in this program, things are going to happen to you. Yeah. In other words, you seeing yourself as the cause, you'll actually see that you're the effect of a greater cause, let's say. Yeah. Yeah. And now, in a way, you've signed up for the new team. Yeah. And then see what happens. See what it does with a life that you thought was worthless. Yeah. And you had a lot of opinions that have proven to be wrong, thank God. Yeah. And there you go. Jeez. Oh, I'm a completely satisfied customer of recovery. I believe it's one of the only things I've run into in this life that fulfilled the promise it made, that I could be free from that drive to drink and use a day at a time. It produced the goods. Yeah. And so much more. How many things that you sign up for don't? Yeah. How many things that you sign up for lead to having to sign up for more things? This delivered the goods. Simple. Yeah. We wouldn't be here if it didn't. We'd be trying to get what we already have now. We'd be trying to get it. We'd be running around doing this, doing that, and trying to squeeze a rock to get some juice out of it. It's not the rock's fault. There's just no juice in there. No matter how much you squeeze. Yeah. So faith is before your belief or non-belief. Yeah. Your non-belief has as much faith in it as your belief. Yeah. It does. Your non-belief has as much faith in it as your beliefs. Yeah. But faith is not a belief. It's what gives oomph to the belief. Yeah. But faith is before believing. It's knowing before knowledge. Yeah. Faith. And the only way you can feel it is vaguely, but intimately. Yeah. I don't have to look back as the boot to know I'm being moved on the board. Yeah. Because the boot really can't look back. Yeah. But I don't need to see what's moving me. There's a sense of it moving me. Yeah. Yeah. And, perhaps there is a better way. Yes. Yes. There's no perhaps about it. Yeah. There is a better way. Now, am I saying this is the only way? No. I'm just saying it's the better way for me. What, I haven't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So another day in sobriety. You know how many people that you see that they came in with nothing. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch that got shook. There was nothing there. And then they're in the program, and then lines are drawn, houses are made, relationships occur, babies happen, this or that. Yes. Because there's not that irritable restlessness, discontent, constantly shaking everything up. Yeah. Peace can come into a clear HD sense, yeah, and you learn that you can enjoy peace of mind. Yeah, you can face life successfully. You feel a new presence, you feel a new power flowing in, and you sense a presence. Yeah, basically, the spiritless servility, you're alive again. Yeah, yes, really, isn't that what it's describing? Having life like being pumped back into you after years of spiritless servility. Spiritless servility. Yeah. So, so faith without works, you're the work. Yeah. Yeah. You're the work. So faith with work. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So mm, we attempt to stay on this idea because almost every idea has been exhausted in AA. People are experts on everything, periods and commas and the italic statements and everything. But there's been, I feel, a manufactured vagueness about the exact nature of the wrong. Yeah. And I feel this isn't only about, pulling the curtain open, but repeating pulling the curtain open. Yes, every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And sometimes we get into other things, but I like to always come back to this because I think it's the primary point, literally, to get to the exact nature of the wrong and recognize it's foreign to us. Because nothing else worked but this when it hit me around 7 years of sobriety. Because immediately when I saw that which had defeated me as foreign to me, the possibility of truly being free from it became available. And what becomes available can definitely manifest in your life. Yes. But if you don't know any better, then that possibility may never come to fruition. Yeah. So I was trying to be free as self. I was really an aspect of self that was trying to get out of self. Yeah. Now, what that description of self can't get out of self is not directed at self, it's directed at us. Yeah. Because we are not self. Self is never going to get that it can't get out of self. It's one of its driving programmable force. Yeah. But you and I can see we're not that which cannot see it can't get out of itself. Yeah. So we can see it. Oh, the message about self can't get out of self is not for self, it's for us. Yeah. It's for the defeated. Yeah. So being convinced self manifested in various ways is what has defeated us. Yeah. A lot of this message, when you recognize that, is about something you're not, which is self, with the hope that by recognizing what you're not, you'll get a sense of us. Yeah. You'll get a true sense of what you are by recognizing what you're not. It's worked here. So I don't see how it couldn't work there. I just don't see it. Yeah. I suffered from the same thing you suffered from. Yeah. And the relief from its tyranny was recognizing it was foreign to myself. And I believe that goes to every other person that's been taken over by the bondage of self. Yeah. We've tried long and hard to be free as it. I mean, seriously. Every time I shot coke, it was an attempt to be free from self. Every freaking time. Yeah. And it had gone to such an extreme. I was willing to pay any consequence that shooting, that coke that day was going to bring about the next day, like getting arrested or whatever. Yeah. To have that temporary relief, or actually, and it even had run out of relief. It was just, uh, it was, it was just living on hope. Yeah. As that the next shot would do it. I would be able to be catapulted out of self for at least a few minutes. But it had failed already. Yeah, that's what the addiction is. You keep doing an escape route that has failed. You can't help yourself. Yeah. So you're hoping to get a sense of being free from something, but that's past. Yeah. And now you're on your 800th shot. And now you're addicted to what you thought was going to be the solution. Wow. It's insane, eh? It's insane, literally. It thrives on our mistakes and it causes our mistakes. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It says you can be free as self. It does. And therefore we keep trying. And even though it's failing, there's like a hope it gives us that's hopeless, really. Like the next time it will be different, or the next drink is going to be great. It's going to be like my first gin and tonic when I was a kid, or whatever. Yes. And remember who I met after the first gin and tonic? Yeah. Well, after the 50th gin and tonic, I met more uniforms than anything else. Blue, black, the robes of judges, and white, the hospital gowns. So, yeah. At that point, I was powerless, eh? Powerless. Fuck. I mean, we all know because we were taken to talk about going to any lengths. Something took us pretty damn far down that rabbit hole. And yeah. It's a funny thing, you know. You're confronted with the evidence that's monumental that you're not managerial quality, and the head just says, I need just to manage better. Shoots you up with hope, and then another downfall. On and on and on. Yeah, you're expecting it to finally be honest with you. It's not going to be honest with you. Yeah, so there is a freedom. Yeah, the problem resides in the head. It's talking to you as you right now. Yeah, you should, instead of saying, what is this guy saying? You should see, what is that guy saying? Instead of applying it to me, you should apply it to the head, because that's another me. That's not you. You're not going to be listening to Paul all day, but you are probably going to be listening to this. I yeah. Your personal radio station is a franchise. It's a franchise. You're listening, the same shit that's being spun in your head is the same shit the head spins in here. It just has different locales and characters, but it's the same. Yeah. We're all listening to the same narration. And it's this syrup of personalness that's put in it that makes it seem so unique. But when I hear you share your thoughts, they sure sound like my thoughts. When you share your feelings while being loaded or under this fucking possession, it sure sounds like how I felt. Yeah. And then the reactions you had to a life directed by the head sure seem to be similar to the reactions I did. Yes. I mean, when do you get the sense of what's yours is not ours? We are, the us is free from the what you think is yours. Yes. Yeah. So here we are. I just love it. I mean, to me, you know, getting down to the causes and conditions and the exact nature of the wrong are not just, they're essential. Yeah. Because it's that which causes the surface chaos. Yeah. Becoming a master of how to calm down the surface chaos, that's going to be a spiritless civility, to constantly having to master the chaos of the surface. Yeah. While when it gets calmed enough and we're not using and acting out every day, we can look at, let's say, the causes and conditions and maybe get to the exact nature of the wrong, so that we don't have to become a master of the surface chaos, because we're going to fail anyway. Yeah. So when you see the exact nature of the wrong, it brings a clarity to the chaos on the surface. It does. And you deal with the surface, not with the surface, unless it's demanded of you. Yeah. You're dealing with it on the level, the underlying causes and conditions. Yeah. It's much easier to get out of a house at the blueprint stage than after it's built. Yeah. And when you see the head's blueprint for your day, you can bring it to step 6 and 7 and have it reconfigured. Yeah. We have the managing of the debris and the recycling of it in step 6 and 7. It's probably the most active steps when you're in the state of, or in the habit of being sober. The most active steps at that point are 6 and 7, because you see a lot of the shit. You see the old ideas, you see a lot of stuff, and you bring that to 6 and 7 and have it reconfigured, you know? The energy's in there. It's just not being put to, it could be put to a better use. Yeah. Yeah. And then at times you don't go to 6 and 7, and you never go to 8 and 9. You're not fucking stepping on people's toes or anything. Yes? And you're in that, what's described in 84, with no thought or effort, the problem does not exist for you anymore. Yeah. How would you respond to that? I don't know. I don't think you're going to arm yourself. It's very disarming. You have a sense that you're in very good hands. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. I don't know what your day is like. I'm older now and stuff. My day is, uh, because I don't answer my phone or follow any text or emails. My day is pretty uh, hmm. I am so incredibly grateful for what's absent in my life. Yes, and therefore also grateful for what's present in my life. But really, going back to the old days, the absence of stuff is so much to be grateful for. Yeah, because I used to know how a day would go. I have a vague sense, as if I'm a dog that was traumatized when it was younger. It's just looking in the corner in a wall, you know. I, I have a strange sense. I can't do it justice because it's a subjective experience and I'm not the subject anymore. Yeah. But it still has a feeling of healthy dread. I just can't see myself in the hate at 70 years old, trying to buy something on the street. It's incredible. I have the bus from the senior citizen home. I tell them to pull over and I try to get some drugs. That seems to be a pitiful situation. Yeah. I'd much rather be excited about the Jello they're bringing me at 1 o'clock. All right, I'm losing it, so do better. But you get the sense of it, I hope. Yeah. Yeah. When people say they hate themselves, that's a misunderstanding. I don't care about all their particulars. It's a basic misunderstanding. There may be some hate that's directed at them, in them, but it's not them directing it. Yeah. And I think it's one of the places you end up by following the act of being identified as self. You may end up in that condition where you believe you hate yourself. That's insane. Yes? Or you are your own worst enemy. That's insane. Yeah. And that could be remedied very easily if you saw the exact nature of the wrong. Yeah. These calamities were self-imposed. They're not yours. They're self-imposed. Yes. You and I are driven, yeah, to the good or the bad or the good. Yeah. You and I are driven by a force That force is going to be directed by the driver. The option here is to tell the truth about the old driver, which is this idea of self. Well, let's call it alcoholism. Yeah. And to sign up by doing this program and the working steps, to sign up to have a new driver, which is the infinite. It's just that simple. It's faith is the same. When it says there's two ways. It says the word trust applies to both of them, either trusting finite self or trusting the infinite. You and I represent trust. Yeah. That's that neutral force called faith. And it's going to manifest by the vehicle it is put in. The self has directed the faith to its own vehicle. Yeah. The
How
pro
pretty that is.
the program can change that and put that faith into the infinite. And you will know the tree by its roots. You will see what happens. Like for me, step 2 was an observational step. I observed that I hadn't drank for 8 weeks. Yeah. So I came to believe that something could do for me what I couldn't do for myself because I hadn't been sober for 8 weeks in fucking long time. Yeah. So it was I observed this step and I came to believe. And then that set me up to the third step. And I had surrendered in my life to many things that took like for 2 years and 3 months and stuff like that. And so I knew what surrender looks like in life, where your ability to manage led you to having to be managed by others. And I lived in programs where they told me what to do all day for 2 years. Yeah. And when I left and got sober after I went out for 10 months, I look back on that and I didn't like those people, but I had to begrudgingly admit that my life looked better with them running it than it ever did with me running it. Because me wasn't me, me was self. Yeah. And I could give my life over to like a dog catcher and they do a better job with it than I do. Yes, that's amazing. That's an amazing conclusion to arrive at. Yeah. And then suddenly the third step was presented to me, which was like another surrender in a way. Yeah. And I had a sense of surrender before. And then there was a many surrenders to the cops, to a lot of things in life. I had a surrender to the fate of being in a hospital bed for 10 months. Yeah. Where I had no choice whatsoever. None. I didn't choose that where they're going to operate or when. They told me. I didn't have any choice in any food. There was no TV in there. I just laid there. Yeah. Yeah, for months, months and months. So I had all those feelings and I was gifted a forced surrender. I got struck sober and it was like a forced surrender. I had absolutely nothing to do with it because when I had something to do with the surrender, it wasn't a surrender. It just whacked me, and I've been clean and sober ever since. But for me to stay clean and sober, it was obvious I needed a way of life, and I was introduced to it the night that I got struck sober. In the day, that night I was in my first AA meeting, and I've been sober ever since. Yeah, yeah. My mother, if she could have, she would have, but she couldn't. The state, if it could have, it would have, but it didn't. Yeah, nothing, no human power, including here, could change this fucking thing until something did. Yeah. In that case, one miracle is enough. It's sufficient to change your mind for the rest of your life, literally. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyone? Thank you.
Anyone have a question for Paul? Paul, I was just reminded when you said that you had to admit that they did a better job. I was just reminded of when I was very young and got married and had two children with a man. I was married to him for 15 years. And when I met him, I made a pact with him that I would stop drinking. And I went into this marriage and caught in this cocoon and of his control. And I just realized, like, as soon as the marriage split up 15 years later, I'm back to it. And I thought, oh, I used to say, if it wasn't for him, I would have been drunk for the first 13 years of my kids' lives or whatever. But it's just what you just said. Even though I hated being controlled by him, it kept me from being a drunk mom for at least the first 12 or 13 years of their lives.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now, in one weird way, it's like a Frankenstein solution.
yeah,
AA just offers you a better one.
for sure. Oh my God, like night and day difference, a better one.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Please.
I mean, I'm sure if I chain myself to a wall, but that could be the solution to drinking, but it has its own set of problems. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a much more uh, compatible solution. Yes. Yeah.
Much more long lasting.
You don't have to become a nun or something. Yeah.
You can do it for more than 15 years without going insane.
That's right. I mean, yes. Usually if there's a higher power that isn't, there's an ending up of hating the higher power.
Every time in my existence, every time.
Yes. I'm anointing you my higher power, like it or not, and then you hate their guts after
Yeah.
a year or two when it fails.
But then when the non-duality takes hold, you don't hate anyone or anything. You're nothing in the past
Well,
matters.
something hates everyone and everything, but you don't. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's a
I
beautiful
don't
thing.
believe you're ever going to make something that's built to see divisiveness and separation to be on the line of kumbaya unity. I just don't think it works.
No, but the way you just
Actually,
tell,
they're not
look,
that,
but
exactly.
you just explain that you just be okay with it and it's fine and just like whatever. Like I was thinking when you said like that thing that's talking isn't you, and either is the thing that's telling it you don't know. Like I have this thing that automatically tells the thought that they don't know. Like I don't know what's happening, but it's pretty cool. I know it's none of it's me, but I love that it's happening anyway.
Yeah, great, definitely. I mean, uh, yeah, yeah. All
We
right,
have some hands up, Paul. We have Stephen R. and Rob S. so far.
all right, Stephen.
Stephen first.
Hey, Paul.
Stephen.
I was going to ask you about instinct and desire, but while you didn't say it, you touched on it throughout what you were describing. I saw that the parasite identified the satisfaction of instincts and desires as the path to okayness. And I mean, it looked that way, and I traveled that route. And of course, whether I got the instinct and desire satisfied or not, if I didn't, well, it never got satisfied. Even when it acquired what it said it wanted, it quickly said it wasn't enough. I needed more. So eventually I came to the realization, kind of like you, that it's not me. It's not me. And I remember I was seeing a psychiatrist, and I was describing as best I could before hearing this. I didn't have the words, and I would hold my hand out and I'd point at it, saying this, that, the self. And he said to me, do you he, like I was crazy. He said, do you realize you're talking about yourself in the third person? I said, that's not me. It's doing all that. But the I was wondering if you could talk about the idea of okayness, what I've come to that, and Also, the
There's an idea of okayness, and then there's okayness,
right,
which
right.
usually there's not an idea of, but there's ideas of okayness, of course, from the head's point of view. Yes, so it promises you you'll be okay if this and that and that and this happens. Yes, so
Right,
yes, but that defined okayness obviously doesn't work. Yes,
right.
yes. So there.
So that fell away, and one day I realized that I was already okay, and that's another thing. It looks like, as you were describing, and when I read the stories in the big book, I have the same thoughts as those people. I have the same thoughts, the same feelings, just like you described. But with the spirituality side of it too, um, anything that I've realized, let's just call it that, was already. I see that it was already there. It's already there. It's not because there's a familiarity with it. There's a recognition of it.
Yes, yes, that's it. Yeah, so you seem to go home to the home you never left. Yeah, that's how it usually works. And the thing is with desires, remember the head takes the basic needs and makes them wants. Yeah. So there's a basic need for shelter, and then you want that fourth house. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the need for shelter has been met. Now the head wants more shelter and better shelter and this or that. Yeah. So then the need for that fuels these desires because it's not a need really, but it's using the drive of a need to go through a want. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
home. I'm at a meeting and I live in a very rich area, Marin County. I was at a meeting and one person there was flipped out about anxious about would that refrigerator box that he slept in last night be there this night, down in the Tenderloin. And he was anxious and concerned about that. And then a lady shared about she was very anxious, concerned about the fourth house she was buying. Yeah. So the anxiety and the concern was exactly the same. It really was. But one was the need had already been met. It had now been, she was reacting to a want as a need. I need this fourth house, but you really don't need the fourth house. But that person needs that refrigerator box because, yeah, it's fucking cold and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of us
Yeah.
a lot of us are living lives where the needs are met, and then the head can just go off and get into what it wants. Yeah. And so it co-ops that drive to get your needs met and then funnels it into desires for like, I need a house on the mountains, I need a house at the beach, I need a house, it's all fine and good, but the reaction to not getting what you want is as if you're not getting what you need. And that's not true. Yes? So it distorts the reaction. The head. It has you reacting to not getting what you want, like a life and death situation, which it isn't. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
So the head is where molehills are seen as mountains. Yeah. The head is in a house of mirrors. It's all distorted. Yeah. And the you, this is why in AA they do a nice little jab of that, which where they talk about you're going to lose interest in self and you're going to lose this interest in your little plans and designs. Where when they were your plans and designs, when were they seen as little? Yeah, you saw them as big plans and designs. Yes, so
Yeah.
it's a projection of proportion that we're reacting to that's made up in the head. Yeah. So it's the agenda, the instinctual agenda to play with us in a lot of ways. Yeah. So it makes something that's definitely a desire, an essential need in your life. And that's addiction, really, literally. Yes?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even need cocaine, but I lived as if it was a life or death thing to have cocaine.
yeah,
So this isn't natural. This isn't like water running down a hill. It's manufactured. It's a manufactured state. Yeah. So the basis of the state is irritable, restless, and discontent. So the mental state is agitated. Yeah. So it's desiring, it wants stuff, it hates other stuff. Yeah. And it's in
yeah,
a sense of powerlessness, which it'll never admit. So it's very flipped out. Yeah. And so this is what we feel. We feel this vague, irritable, restless, and discontent. So it triggers a need to have a solution to it. And then that which is causing the agitation gives us the solution, which is just going to cause more agitation. And there we go. Yeah. So we're looking to be guided. Something that's blind steps in and says it will guide us at the expense of our seeing, really. And so we rely on something to guide us that's blind to its own defects. It doesn't get self can't get out of self. It doesn't get that it's not managerial quality. It doesn't get it, and it's not going to get it. You can therapize the fucking hell out of it. It's not going to get it. Yes, because it's a program. This is not AI.
yeah,
Yeah. It has ceilings, it has dimensions that define it. It doesn't expand out of those dimensions. What it wants to do is suck everything up to fit its dimensions. Yes. So when you hear a message about freedom, it nudes it and says, "Oh, this is how I think I'm going to look when I'm free." It's just this. It's just if you've been under it enough, and we all have. I mean, and you just hear a description of it, it will feel familiar. Yeah.
yeah,
And this is what we do here. We're describing what we're not to all of us so that we can have a sense that it's not us. Because
right.
that's the first correctly directed step. Yeah. If you're gonna do a journey of 10,000 steps, which is the most important step? The first one. It sets the direction of the 9,999 others. Yes? All the steps will be steps, but they may be going the wrong way. And we're looking at the exact nature of it. We're looking at the underlying causes and condition. Right now, we're not drinking actively or using. So step 800 isn't being corrected. We're trying to get to the primary steps, yeah, and see the simple difference between the defeater and the defeated. And in AA, it says the defeater is called self and the defeated is called us. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And us ain't self.
Yeah,
So it'd be nice to have this clearly drawn. Yeah, because it's like you're playing tick-tock, whatever, but you start with two X's already. You don't have any move, really. Yeah, and you lose every time. And you're wondering why you lose every time. Because it goes first. Yes. Whoever goes first in X's and O's wins usually, right? So the head goes first at our expense. We want to be spirit, in a sense, goes first because that is actually the hierarchy. It is spirit before mind and body. It's not mind, then body, and then spirit. It's spirit, mind, and body. Yeah. We're mostly living in a state of mind and body, and the spirit is an unsuspected resource. So, all right. I think Matt, who's on the water, wants to ask a question.
Yeah. Hey guys. First of all, the people in the community. It's been lovely to hear, people shares. I've been. It's the second time I'm doing this live. I did it outside of an Alano Club, Paul. I'm the action figure. I'm the guy. I'm actually, I'm up in Wisconsin with my son. And Paul, I listened to my share a couple times, and it was like the third time I listened to it that I listened to your, what you contributed to me, which is, my job right now, my service is to take care of my kids. And I'm up in on a lake in Wisconsin with my son, with my 10-year-old son, and he's out with my father-in-law. And I was here in June with my son, and I drank. I drank on the way up here, and I stopped it. And drinking isn't my thing, man. I'm opiates, fentanyl.
Yep.
Paul, this is what I'm trying to get the courage up right now. I haven't told my sponsor. I've told other people in the program. And, I've got an appointment. I'm going away to a Jesuit retreat to do my fifth step next month. And I got to let this guy know, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not, it's just drop the pride. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other thing you alluded to this a lot, and I think it's important for us all to remember, Bill Wilson's emotional sobriety piece in 53 in the Grapevine, right? Where he says, but basically more will be revealed. And, folks are going to pick this up and carry it. And, there's guys like me that, we've had time and give it away. I had that conversation with you a little bit, right? The chronic relapser and this, this non-duality and your message in this community has just been a godsend to me. And, I want to thank, you and the people in the community, everybody who's showing up and just listening and, and sharing. And this is a big part of my day, and I listen to them repeatedly, and I take notes and talking about I'll end with this. I'm not gonna, my action figure has such a big fucking presence, right? Like he wants to just, let everybody know I know about everything. And
The lake's a lot bigger than you right now.
big muskie in there with my name on it, and,
You're a huge body of water is behind you.
I'm literally sitting over it right now, right? And I've got my feet in it, and it's a wonderful world. And I'm gonna get off here and go grab my son and just do some fishing and play around, man, and find time at some point to get quiet again and call my sponsor.
Be truthful. It goes a long way. Yeah. And it's a very good metaphor or something here with you, and the background is a huge body of water that looks pretty calm, nice. Yeah. It allows you not to have to hold on to the boat at every second, and so you can easily talk and chill out because of the condition of the water. Yeah. This is the whole idea of the irritability, restlessness, and discontentment gets replaced with an ease and comfort. Yeah. So therefore, you can sit in a boat, not holding on to everything and paddling everywhere, and you can relax and enjoy the logic that's holding the smallness. Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm letting him drive, right? I got a 40 horse on it and a steering wheel and a 10-year-old, and there's sort of no way to get hurt. I'm just letting him do what he wants to do, and
Well, it's great. You you're playing a role in a great memory in his. He's going to remember those lakes. The rest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is it. I'll end with this. I got this love from my father. I got a call from my father a couple of months ago. He's living in, out of a car in New York. He calls me when he's shit-faced and he asks for money. And, I've spent some time going through social services in Suffolk County, and I've got an application, for subsidized assisted living. And I just want him to help himself, right? I don't want to drop a couple $1,000s and get the same phone call. And I hadn't talked to him in a fucking decade, right? I'm trying to do the right thing. And, my son had.
Housing is available because my nephew, who's now 60, has it in Freeport, Long Island. And it's just basically, it's nice. It's a nice little apartment.
Huh.
There are some requirements he has to meet. That thing. One of them is not to start drinking.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to help himself. I said, Dad, I need your help filling out this application, right? I can't, I don't know this information. I can't submit it on my own. And, the same old, Butch, I don't need anybody's help and handouts.
Maybe he would change if he was in a house with a roof.
Well, I think it might change because winter's coming too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, they're strutting around Suffolk County.
Yeah, it can't be, I hated the guy for so long, and now that I'm clean today, I'm sober. I want to be able to look back and think.
He hated the disease, really.
Yeah. My disease hated his fucking disease, right?
Yeah.
My action figure hated his action figure is really what it is.
So, remember, he's not his disease. So yeah.
No, none of us are.
Do what you can. I mean, a life saved out of the freezing cold down the road is, they have the idea of, should I teach the person how to grow food or give them a sandwich? Well, let's start with the sandwich.
Yeah. You mentioned that with the sleeping, right? Like the homeless people, like give them a fucking sleeping bag or.
Oh yes, for sure.
Like it's such an easy, an easy thing, man. Instead of tossing bucks or a sandwich, give them something they really need. And
yes, definitely. Well, ask them, and they'll tell you what they need. Go to a place, they'll tell you what the people need that are coming. They're not sleeping bags.
Yeah, I'm listening to. I'll tell you this, and I'll get off that. I was listening on the way up to what's that? Amongst the white. What is it? Amongst the white clouds. The those guys out in China, like people have. It's a Zen documentary, and it's pretty powerful. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long. I'm listening to it on the way up. My father-in-law was driving. I thought I was having a spiritual fucking experience, and then I fell asleep. And in the car, I realized that I had only gotten 4 hours of sleep prepping for this trip. Right? It was. It's a really neat thing to watch if anybody is, looking at it. It's amongst the white.
Oh, amongst the white clouds.
There you go. Nice. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, good, bro. Have a nice trip, and yeah. Learn how to face life successfully. Call your sponsor. Tell them the truth.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Welcome. Everyone. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for sharing, Matt. I feel like you feel better. Appreciate you sharing, man.
Which lake? Tell us which lake that is, please.
What
Lake?
It's called Lockview Dessert. It's the biggest inland lake in Wisconsin. It's a world record muskie lake. It's on the border of half the lakes in Wisconsin, half the lakes in Michigan.
Beautiful.
Lockview Dessert. Yeah. Great little spot. They got a fisherman's special up here at Sunrise Lodge. So not too much money, you get. My wife won't do it. She's hard Irish, right? Just camping out. So I took her father and we're having a nice time. And it's my holy day.
What does that have to do with camping out, being half Irish?
Well, she just doesn't want to spend the dollars, right?
Oh.
That's what I mean by hard Irish. That's all I mean by that.
this us of the Zoom is very buoyant.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyone else? So let's start saying goodbye. It's Kathleen, as always, another lovely day at the Oasis. Yes, very nice. Marilyn in Tallahassee, nice to see you, honey. Yeah, Kerry, as always, got a beautiful blue sky there. Very nice. Michael Stacy. Yeah, Steve B, nice to see you. Stephen R. Sean in NorCal. Rick Rowe. Peter in Arizona. Eileen in Arizona. We got Mr. Al in Vegas, cleaned his act up a little bit, haircut, everything. Joseph C. in France. Sean in Tacoma. Shannon Corkery, yes, there she is. Vlad in Portugal, always a pleasure, Vlad. Greg's iPhone. John in Florida. Jess in Ireland. Hey, nice to see Jess also. We got Jess and Vlad, and fantastic. Hey, thanks everyone. We'll be here Saturday. You all know the drill, I guess. Every Zoom is the same Zoom, no password on the event page. If there's only one day up, that's not the day you're on, hit it, and if there's a meeting, you'll be there. Okay, thanks. See you guys. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Kathleen.